Welcome to the channel, and in this video I'll be going over my Marvel Cinematic Universe collection, in particular Phase 1. I'll be going over each film in chronological order, in the order of their release. I hope you enjoy. First is a 2-disc special edition DVD of Iron Man, the movie that started this whole cinematic universe. This case has seen better days, it's cracked at the top, and it has a bit of sun damage. I bought this years ago at a Newbury Comics in Northampton, Massachusetts. I miss these types of releases. All we get now for collector's editions when it comes to these big studio movies are just steelbooks. Imagine if we got something like this for like Guardians of the Galaxy and they used Star-Lord's helmet. The only other MCU movie that has similar packaging was Spider-Man Homecoming. It was an Amazon exclusive that came in the shape of, well, obviously, Spider-Man's head. I did eventually upgrade this movie to Blu-ray, but I kept it as a cool display piece in my collection. I also own the first Iron Man on Blu-ray. This 2-disc Ultimate Edition comes with a great making of documentary, documenting from pre-production all the way to the release of this film. I wish we got more documentaries like this today. Now we're lucky to get really any sort of insight into the making of. Disney puts no care into their special features, and honestly people on YouTube put out more informative videos than Disney's featurettes. So if you're listening, Disney, could you try putting some effort into your releases so that they're worth their high price point? I'd really appreciate it. Next is one of my favorite DVDs that I own. This Incredible Hulk 3-disc Target exclusive. I don't remember how I learned of this edition, but I found it on eBay. I love how the front opens up. It's one of the coolest additions to any comic book movie, or really any movie for that matter. It comes with an additional 30 minutes of bonus features that were exclusive to this release. I've always enjoyed this movie and thought it was pretty unfairly treated as some like red-headed stepchild of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Maybe that's because of the bad blood between Ed Norton and Marvel Studios. I was happy to see William Hurt come back as General Ross, and this movie does get a bit more recognition nowadays. I also have the Incredible Hulk on Blu Ray. Universal released a bunch of steelbooks like this about maybe 10 years ago in this comic book panel style look. It definitely fits with this movie since, well, it is a comic book movie. I like that they use green and purple as the predominant colors, although Hulk doesn't wear his trademark ripped up purple pants in this movie. Nothing going on inside the steelbook with no interior artwork, but you get both the Blu-ray and the DVD, so that's pretty cool, I guess. The last version I own of the Incredible Hulk is the UMD. This is a UK release, but it is region free, so you can play it on a PSP here in the US. This was a relatively hard UMD to find at the time when I bought it maybe 8 years ago. It's unfortunately the only MCU movie I can watch on my PSP, but at least it's a movie I enjoy. Next is Iron Man 2, and I love that they went with the briefcase Iron Man suit for the cover image. It's probably my favorite Iron Man suit. Anyway, this Blu-ray would be the last MCU movie to get a making of documentary. The rest of the releases would only get a few featurettes on the making of. The documentary is pretty great and it's over an hour long. It also comes with a couple featurettes on the comic book origins of characters like Nick Fury, Black Widow, and War Machine. I wish studios would do more stuff like this, but once again, there's YouTube channels that can give you a more comprehensible video on each one of these characters. This is another great release, and since this is a Paramount Blu-ray, the latest 4K from Disney doesn't have any of these bonus features. Next is the first Thor movie. I started buying Blu-rays around the time this was released. I started noticing studios were putting less and less bonus features on their DVD releases, or were even starting to make them Blu-ray exclusives. For Christmas that year, I got a PlayStation 3, and pretty much from then on, I would only buy Blu-rays. So since this was one of the first Blu-rays that I bought, it's kind of sentimental, and I haven't really felt the need to upgrade it to 4K. Also, Disney makes it super easy, since their artwork on their 4Ks is very uninspired and it's easy to pass up on. Next is the first Captain America movie, and since this and Thor were released relatively close to each other, this was also an early Blu-ray in my collection. And since I'm a weirdo who places sentimental value on stuff, I haven't ever upgraded this movie. So this will stay in my collection probably forever. Also, Disney is far too fucking lazy to ever put out a new Superior Edition. If you haven't noticed by now, I'm not a fan of Disney and their appalling treatment of their catalog of films, especially when it comes to physical media. Next is the first Avengers movie, and at the time, this was like my most anticipated movie ever. I would watch the trailers every day leading up to the day the movie finally came out, and luckily, the movie didn't disappoint. I wound up seeing it in theaters 3 times, which I'm sure isn't a lot compared to most superfans of this universe. I originally bought this at Walmart and it came with a graphic novel, but I later found out that there was a Target exclusive, and since I love the movie, I wanted to get the best edition of it. So I then bought the Target exclusive version that came with a bonus disc featuring 90 minutes of bonus material. Earlier this year, Walmart released 4 Mondo Steelbooks of MCU films, and one of them being the first Avengers movie. I wasn't going to get this initially because, did I really need to triple dip on this movie? But my local Walmart had it on the shelf, and the artwork sold me on it. I think these ended up selling pretty well, so maybe Disney will have Mondo do more Steelbooks in the future. Also, I would like them to maybe lower the prices a bit. That would be nice, but I'm sure that won't happen. I mean, it is Disney we're talking about. Overall, I think this phase for the MCU was pretty great. They laid down the foundational pieces of what this universe would become, and it turned into an absolute mammoth of a franchise. I'll go over my Phase 2 collection in the near future, but until then, thank you for watching, and as always, have a movie time.